Hey folks, it's Annette here from Dinners in Canada. So I made this a couple of nights ago. It's a recipe that I kind of have altered a little bit because I can't get all the right ingredients. But I learned it from tiny little restaurant with a grandpa and grandma who were making Italian dishes. They only made 6 dishes. They only served it at lunch, and it was incredible. So the ingredients are really simple. It's just 6 fresh Roma tomatoes, red onion, garlic, Kalamata olives, penne pasta, double smoked bacon, and some red chili pepper flakes. So starting out, I'll be grating 2 garlic cloves. These little bowls that you see in front, just in case you're curious, are from Spain. They're called grating bowls, and they're really good to grate up things like garlic and ginger. They have larger bowls where you can grate up your tomatoes, zucchinis, things like that. Anyway, so I'll be starting off with the 2 cloves of garlic, and then I'll be moving on to the fresh tomatoes. So here I'm actually using Roma tomatoes, and these are fresh from the store. I really don't think that you can make the best pasta sauce unless you use fresh tomatoes. But if you want to use canned tomatoes, I would recommend using whole tomatoes. When they harvest the tomatoes and they can them, they put the best quality tomatoes into the whole canned tomatoes, and then as the grade of the quality of the tomato goes down, it then becomes the diced tomatoes and then your tomato puree. So if you want the freshest and the best quality tomatoes, you are better off buying a can of whole tomatoes. But here you can see I'm grating these up. I really want to extract as much tomato juice as I can. I will also be using the skins so that I get little chunks of tomato in the dish, and I'm just slicing those up here. So the next ingredient I'll be using is a double smoked bacon. This dish, when it's traditionally made, it tends to use a cured pork jowl. I simply cannot find that in the country town that I live in Ontario. So I'm using a double smoked bacon. It's not traditional, but it's really, really good, and I would highly recommend you try it. I'm cutting these into larger chunks, or lardons as they call them, and I'm doing that because I really do want to get a bite of this bacon in the dish. I don't want it to completely disintegrate or be so small that you can't really tell you're eating bacon. So I'm just slicing it up. It's about 1/4 of an inch thick and probably about 1.5 inches long. So next up, I'm just going to be dicing up about 1/4 of an onion, and then we'll be ready to cook. So I'm adding in some olive oil here. It's just regular olive oil, not extra virgin. It's really not necessary because there is a lot of fat in that bacon, but I like the taste of olive oil. So I'm going to be adding the bacon, and I'll be slowly rendering those down until they're nice and crispy, but still tender. So while I'm still rendering down that bacon, I'm going to be adding in my onion and sauteing that. And then I'll be adding in the garlic. I have a new puppy, and the puppy is crying for some bacon. I shouldn't give it to him because then he'll learn that he can always cry and get yummies. But he might be right. Gentle, oh my God, you're a big So next I'm adding in my fresh tomatoes, giving it a stir. And then I'll add in about 1.5 teaspoons of red chili pepper flakes. You can add as much or as little as you want, but I would recommend a little bit of heat. Apologies for the puppy in the background. So now I'm just going to add in about a cup of water, and then we're just going to let this sit and simmer for about 10 minutes. Once the sauce begins to thicken just a little bit, I'm adding in about 1.5 teaspoons of chicken bouillon and an extra cup of water. And then I'll be adding in my penne pasta. Now I really would recommend penne for this because penne is the thicker pasta. It is harder to overcook, so you can keep it al dente. And this particular pasta that I'm using here is pasta that has actually been created using a brass pasta press rather than a silicone or plastic pasta press. That just means it soaks up more of the juices and it coats the pasta a lot better. So if you can look for that kind, I would recommend it. And then finally, I'm throwing in 2 little containers of Kalamata olives. It's probably about 20 olives, although I did eat a few of them. Then you're just going to give it a stir and leave this to simmer for about 10 minutes. That pasta is slowly going to soak up all that flavor and all those juices so that every bite of pasta is going to taste amazing. So you can see here that the pasta is pretty much ready. It soaked up all that tomato juice so that every bite of pasta is just delicious. I'm going to add in a little bit of butter and then I'm just going to plate up. I hope you can forgive my plating up skills and my lighting. I'm not a professional photographer. This doesn't probably look that spectacular, but I promise you it's really, really good. Anyway, I hope you give this a try, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.